Hey guys, I am joined by the one and only Colin Bryce. Colin, it's been a very, very stressful year. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to get you on because there's a lot of rumors going on, and obviously this year has been exceptionally hard for athletes, promoters, people just in the gym industry, and well, not just in the gym industry, all industries. And I wanted to have a chat with you and find out, just to clarify a few rumors that here, because like all these sports, people hear things and sometimes things get changed. And, I wanted to get you on and just chat a little bit about, obviously, World's Strongest Man coming up this year. It's going to be a very different show, I should imagine, than we've had in the past.
I think very different. I don't see why it can't be magnificent, though.
Oh, definitely. We've got, the athletes in general that we have right now across the board are exceptionally good. There's no...
in a weird way, it sort of reminds me a bit of, it's a bit like the sort of '05, people start to leave, you need new rock stars, and this is going to definitely be a chance to bleed in a few new stars, hopefully.
Oh, definitely.
And how fruitful that was in '05, when, the sort of IFSA vast hordes left, and there was Mariusz and a few other dudes that a lot of guys hadn't heard of.
Sure.
And they grew into stars. Terry Hollands, to name but one.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had his autograph a couple of times, Loz.
First of the line to ask for, first in the queue.
So no, I mean, there's a lot of new guys. Let's not forget, there's a lot of seasoned veterans there as well. Maybe not every seasoned veteran. Mariusz Pudzianowski popping his tricep.
Yeah, bad news. We just found out today. He's unfortunately, one of the questions I was going to ask you is how much of a headache has this World's Strongest Man been for the organisers? And I can just see you looking at you. It's been a nightmare.
There's no headache. No, I mean, crikey, I still feel blessed every day to be a part of it. Even more so in times like this, when we just desperately need to do something. I need to do something.
Sure. Yeah.
I need to do something. I can't sit in this office all day long. I'll go insane.
It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm sure many people out there are feeling the same feeling right now. And it's hard. I put on the Hawaiian shirt and I have the face of joy. But, there is certain, those feelings kick in a lot. And I imagine... Here's a funny example, right? If I hadn't dished out all of the heats and the events the men were going to do with 1 week and 4 days to go at a normal WSM, people would be screaming blue murder, would they not?
Yes.
Right now, everybody's just hoping it happens.
Yeah, of course. So it is... I mean, one of the things,
the whole not dishing him out is a whole different reason. It's really because there's just
you don't know
dropouts. We just don't usually get there. So we've slimmed the events down. So basically, everyone's training 7 events, and they're going to do 5 events. So it's not like it's going to be a disaster. If you train squat and you don't do it, well, okay, so you squatted a lot. It's good for you. That's the worst that happens. So,
sure.
But yeah. We seed things, and the worst that could happen is suddenly, Pudzianowski has happened.
Sure.
Big Brian Shaw, I don't want to, curse the guys, but blah 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 blah, and suddenly you've picked your heats, you put them out, and then you've got one heat with, less than the rock stars, and then you've got a load of rock stars in the other, as it were, and it just doesn't work. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Hence, we've held back, but no one's even moaned. Not a moan. Not one single moan.
Well, I don't think anyone can moan this year. Competitions are getting cancelled. Sporting events are getting cancelled left, right, and centre. It's not just a strongman thing. It's happening across the board, across many sports. Just at the amateur level. I've got loads of clients that are supposed to be doing shows and they've either been postponed or cancelled and changed. Britain's Strongest Woman's supposed to take place in December. I found out today that it's been cancelled. It's one thing after another. And like you said at the start, I think we all need something to look forward to, and we all hope and pray that Worlds does go on. And I've seen the comments. There's people out there think, oh, it shouldn't happen, blah blah blah. I think that's bollocks. You know, I think you've got to make it happen. These guys, it's everything to them. You know, the athletes, it's everything to them. The fans, for most of the true fans, it's important. It's a big sporting event. Why put it on hold?
There was a funny feeling at Europe's Strongest Man when it happened, and I can only describe it. It was a beautiful feeling, actually. It was again, it was a weird situation that, like, doing the athletes meeting the night before, and you looked around and there's a lot of new faces and they were pretty kind of nervous. And then you looked at, you know, the guys, seasoned veterans like Terry, and it wasn't nerves. It was almost everyone was just relieved, right, this is corny, but it's a bit of a family, Loz. You know, you're kind of like Uncle Fester. I'm sorry, that wasn't a people bed gag, by the way. But you know, you know what I mean. It's we are very much a family.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's a small community. Everyone knows everyone, so it's, you know. I
mean, let's face it. You would not wanted to have left Strongman, would you? Having retired.
No. I love Strongman. You know that yourself. You know, I've been involved in it so long. Been a fan of it almost all my life. So
you've got no place else to go, man.
No, that's it. I've got nothing else to do.
we do. I don't know what I'd do. I'm unemployable and anything else. But yeah, I mean, it was just amazing to see how everyone's just happy to compete, to see each other, and just have a bit of a bond. You know, quite simple souls, really, strong men. And I think it's quite nice to see someone else of your, with the same passion, just, you know, lifting some heavy SH1T, and it was great, you know. And I think there's a bit of that feeling about just, please let Florida happen, just let it happen. Just, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. There's a lot of ducks that are.
So how many? What are we? Still, we're about 10 days. What was it? 10 days? 10 days till it starts. Something like that.
It starts on, working backwards. We fly home on the 16th, so 15, 14 finals day, 13 day off, 12, 11 heat stays, and then to give you an idea, the 10th is sort of familiarization medical day, boom for the lot, you know, kind of filming and everything. And days before that, it's a very strict COVID lockdown.
So
testing in, testing going out. I mean, we're coming from a zone to America that is that's banned to fly. So they had to pull some strings, and they had to create quite a a sort of stringent set of things like the ATP did with the tennis in New York, and etc. You know?
So the guys won't have issues flying. There shouldn't be an issue getting people. You've got clearance.
See, the usual issues with flying with strongmen. Big Gav on a plane. Isn't it great? Big Gav's going as a reserve.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's sort of one upside. If you don't know who Big Gav is, everyone has to love Big Gav. I believe Big Gav could be the heaviest man to have ever gone to World's Strongest Man. Heavier than Grizz, heavier than Shaw. He's weighing in at 205, he said.
What was Glenn?
Big Glenn was never more than about 180.
Really?
85, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it was 190, but I don't think so.
Okay.
Shorter, you know?
I mean, yeah, no, it's a lot shorter. Gav is a huge man. Gav built on for those.
He said he was 205 kilos. That could translate for our American brethren. It's what's 205? It's 444, 450.
Yeah, over 450.
Big Shaw's probably about that.
I know Thor's been around that kind of weight. Big Shaw's definitely been around that kind of weight. Yeah. But he's got to be up there as one of the heaviest.
Can you hear this popping, these messages coming up?
No.
By the way, do I sound like an insane man?
No, you don't sound so crazy this time. You're quite mellow and relaxed.
Somebody said Bryce is totally insane, shouting. I had a headset on, right? But I was speaking into a thing here. But actually, I didn't realize till afterwards that the sound was coming out of my computer. And I was just like a deaf guy. What? What's that? I couldn't hear anything. So it's awful. You know, when someone's talking with a headset.
Sure.
Anyway, I won't bore you. There we go. So, yeah.
Well, talk me through what the process will be like this year. Obviously, with the COVID situation, it's added. I understand. I mean, for those that don't know, when you go to World's Strongest Man, you have TV things to do, medicals to do. You do testing of the equipment. But obviously, this year there's going to be extra. Are athletes allowed to bring anyone with them this year?
There's no plus ones, so yeah. So it's going to be. I don't think it'll be so bad. I really don't. Again, I think you'll see a lot of fellas. I can't wait to see faces like Oberst. That big happy face. The gang face is going to be great. And obviously we'll sort of do like a COVID chest bump from 2 meters away or whatever you do. I'd be ashamed not to have you there, might I say, Loz. It's been
it's been nice. Yeah. I do, yeah, of course. But hopefully next year we'll be there in some capacity.
Listen, folks, Loz just about decided to do a comeback about a week ago. There's been a lot of people who have a lot of people. And yeah. Just my theory is, if you don't have lots of competitions, and you have one big one at the end of the year after 12 months of doing hee-haw, everybody's just gone mad. I can just imagine the gross overtraining that's happened. And that is what's hitting people. It's the fear of, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what is my contest shape? Do I need to do more? And then pop. People just, they're not calm and casual about their preparation.
No.
Would you agree?
Oh, well, I think that's why so many people are getting injured as well leading up to this. Everyone's expecting people not to get to contests because of COVID or various different situations. But the reality is we're having a lot of injuries just leading up to this. And I've made that mistake before. You try and rush back a little bit too quick from certain injuries. Yeah. And the sport is at such a high level that you feel you need to. I mean, I posted a video. I did 310 kilos for 5 reps on a deadlift the other day. And some people are saying, oh, you should be making a comeback. And then I'm thinking, no chance. I just watched a video of Bish doing 380 for 5 reps. It's different kind of levels.
From full height.
Yeah, from standard height. He's looking really strong. I mean, loads of the guys are looking really strong. But as you know yourself, what they're doing in the gym doesn't matter until it comes to contest day. And it's always the beauty of it. I mean, it's really sad, I think, today with Kiliashkovsky having to pull out, because I think it was building to a good battle between Brian Shaw trying to get the 5th title and, Mateusz, everyone's spoken about him winning World's Strongest Man. And I think it was building into a big battle between the two of them with a lot of youngsters nipping at the toes. And maybe, I rate JF Caron. I think they're great events for him. He's been very consistent the last few years.
JF Caron, I was giving him a totally unnecessary pep talk via Facebook the other day, messaging, JF, you're the man. You're 3 times 5th World's Strongest Man. And he wrote back saying, and I was 4th last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, as it stands from last year, he's the highest rated athlete left in the contest.
Be interesting, because, what's JF's... Go on then. Who do you think is going to win, right? Let's, first of all, do people know the events?
So the events, if they've watched my channel, they'll know the events. I mean, I'm guessing we've got Hercules Hold, which...
I must have seen every video but that one, by the way, Loz.
Okay. So we got.
When did you announce the events? I didn't see that one.
Just
about watch every video.
On a few of the videos, kind of talking about guys like Kiliashkovsky, Brian Shaw, JF Caron, those kind of guys that I think can do well this year.
I have to have you on in the background,
just help you fall asleep.
Not at all. Turn me on. Yeah.
But go on, I'll let you tell us the events, because you know better than I do what's happening.
I don't have it in front of me, but let me see if I can remember after all these.
So we got. I think let's go.
Do you want to know just the final?
Yeah, let's go for the final of it. So it's about an 18-inch deadlift.
Yes, but I'm hoping that'll be start of 2nd day.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
first event is
for the grand final already.
Is it farmers into yoke or yoke into farmers?
Yeah, it's one or the other, which hasn't been decided yet.
That's what I expect.
Let's let everyone in on an insight, right? I mean, everything is bespoke made, but like all contests are in strongman. if you had a local gym and I said, right, do you mind shipping everything over to another country, and then set it up by email, you'd be like, what's the surface? What's the
do we have
and
any idea?
Everything's bespoke,
Do you have any idea on weights for those events yet or not?
Well, yes, I can tell you requested weights.
Okay, go on.
Well, this is a bit of a sore subject for you, isn't it?
No, not at all. I'm just genuinely interested.
Well, we have an exclusive here on
let's do it.
Podcast. It's going to be. This is a dreadful exclusive because it's like so obvious. It's going to be a yoke for between 10 and 15 meters.
Sure.
It's going to be between a requested 1,000 pounds or just under.
Oh no, that's a good weight.
Just over 1,100, maybe a topping out, maybe 1,130, 1,140 max. So it's.
I think that's a good weight for these guys.
Yes, I think so. And obviously, the heavier it gets, the more it gets to 10 meters or even under. If it gets like suddenly it's like 950, maybe you go 12, 15. You know what I mean? So it needs a bit of fudging when we get there.
Sure.
And then they go into Farmer's Walk, and there's you don't have to be a genius to figure out where we get our kit from currently. Thank you very much. ROGUE.
You can mention them. It's fine.
And they do the big, lovely big wooden.
They make nice kit. Yeah.
Farmers walks, so they have to carry those back, thicker handles than previously, so it's all good and healthy. And and then we've got a couple more events that day, which includes.
Do we have weight for? Is it keg toss? Keg toss, is that an event?
Keg tossing, yeah. Keg tossing and Hercules hold.
Cool.
Is that on the second day? I can't remember now off the top of my head, but yes, you've got the log ladder. So I think the log ladder is day one, along with keg tossing.
What's the weight for the logs? Do you know?
Good question.
And how many have they got to do?
Steve Slater has made a number of them, and they're beautiful as ever.
Yeah, he makes lovely kit.
Pieces of art. Yeah. And go on then. Tell me. Obviously, this won't influence me, Loz. Let me just get my notepad. Yeah. What would you do with no Kieruszkowski? What would you do to separate 10 men in the final? 4 logs.
I would probably do either 5 logs starting at 120 or 4 logs starting at 140.
That's a high start.
It is, but you got 3 to 5 people in that can all press well over.
Yeah, but people are going to go, well, 140, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you're Zadrunas, you're standing there, you're repping it out, and you've got like godly shoulders.
Well, the thing is, 140 is
every. But it is funny, isn't it? It's a lot of feel sweaty, and you got the log there, and you haven't got any horizon. You're out in the sunshine, and then you've got to run to the next log. And suddenly...
Question for you: Is it an indoor or outdoors this year?
Outdoors.
It's outdoors still. Okay. Yeah. So it's gonna be hot.
Can I just say, because if somebody watches from WSM IMG, people cannot come. I'm so sorry. Yeah. You cannot come to the show. That would be like a big no-no.
Sure.
It's all part of why us Europeans are even allowed in America. There's like deals signed that we will behave ourselves enormously, and
I think people understand that this is a unique situation this year. It's and I know it sucks. People keep saying, "Oh, it's ridiculous. We can't go and watch." I want to go and watch. Don't get me wrong. I want to go and watch World's Strongest Man, but I understand it's a weird year. We've got a. I'd rather.
Let's not even get in. We probably really must not get into the whole. Should we be doing lockdowns? Should we not be doing lockdowns?
That's another conversation.
Big time, time, and it's probably like a lot of people, we all swing one way then the other every other minute. It's just depending on who's anyway.
Sure. Sure, but I think it's a good set of events this year. Last year Worlds was 5 events. It's good to see they've put 6 back into the final. I'd still love to see 8 or 10 with a
8 or 10.
8 or 10, but get rid of the heats.
Okay, I'm going to give you an edit sweep, right? You're a seasoned broadcaster now when it comes to the
seasoned.
But have you done much editing, video editing?
Sure.
Have you
Yeah,
done any? No, you haven't.
she's. Liz is actually not in here at the moment, but she would be saying no, he hasn't. But she does the editing.
Okay, putting 1 hour of television in America, especially, right? You've got basically 40 minutes, maybe, with at least 5, if not 6 commercial breaks. So that's the other 20 minutes, the commercial breaks. 40 minutes, 10 events. Once you've got the opening, do the math, baby.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is don't have the heats. So you pick 12 to 16 athletes, the absolute best athletes on the planet, and don't have heats. Just go into like either 12-man final or whatever it might be.
So do it like the Arnolds. And just...
Similar, yeah, but with more events, obviously, than the Arnolds.
So what year did you go to Worlds first time?
2008 was my first Worlds.
Were you expected to go into the final?
No, not at all.
Okay, how about 2009?
2009, I made the final, but I wasn't expected. I was probably.
So you wouldn't have gone then. We wouldn't have taken you.
No, sure. And
you now have earned no money. You've lost your faith.
Colin,
Like that. Why is that Bryce never answers the phone to me? Well, it's because I can only answer the phone to 10 blokes because everyone else hates me. So
no. That's not
seriously,
true.
Think about it. Think about what you just said there.
No, but we have World's Strongest Man is one show. Let's remember we want World's Strongest Man to be the pinnacle. That's the pinnacle of the sport we're talking about. So we're not talking about other athletes not getting a chance.
Loz, this is where sometimes even you don't give yourself credit for what you've done at Worlds. When you win World's Strongest Man, you haven't just done 6 events or 5 events. How can you decide World's Strongest Man? Actually, you've done 5 events or 6 events in the heats as well.
Sure.
You've done 12 brutal all-out events, often in punishing, crippling heat and humidity.
Yeah.
Is it not true?
No, it's absolutely true.
Is it also true to say that because of the unique locations, it's kind of magnificent, and it is the Olympics of the sport, right? Is it not also true to say that horrific humidity and men with enormous BMIs do not mix well? It's a recipe for muscle tears, even worse.
Yeah, sure.
Pops, serious injuries. And therefore, if we did 10 events in one of these locations, Loz, it would be a goddamn tendon tearing fest.
But you're already doing 12 events.
We are already doing 12 events, but how many hours of television does one get from 5 heats and a final?
6 hours of TV.
There you go.
Yeah. But you couldn't. It wouldn't be possible to break it down into parts of a show. Then it has to be all in one go.
But let me ask you this genuinely: Loz 08, Loz 09. Where is he now? Where is he now?
Oh, I understand that. I do. I totally understand the opportunities that I got from competing at World's Strongest Man.
Did you not enjoy the heats in television?
Yeah, of course. I think World's Strongest Man is the pinnacle. I've always said that. People talk about the Arnolds or other shows being the best show. I think in terms of recognition, in terms of being exposed to the world, World's Strongest Man is by far the best still.
I'm not closed to any idea.
Yeah,
and might I also say that I don't remotely have to say on. I'm just another voice in the whole thing. But I'm fascinated to hear what people have to say. And believe you me, I'm not big on chipping in. I'm more of a watcher, than
sure. Yeah,
I think guy on YouTube. I do read the comments, folks. So please,
I think what I'm trying to get across. I mean, I would like to see a better system throughout that leads to World's Strongest Man. Do you know what I mean? So we have a proper qualifying system. So
what do you mean? There is a proper qualifying system.
I understand, but we need more shows.
Criticize what? Tell me what's wrong with the current qualifying system.
I think it's heavily favoured to certain athletes. It's hard for newer athletes to get recognition or get seen. Can
any athlete in the world make the World's Strongest Man in a year?
They can. They have to. So they go through the official Strongman Games. Is the route for anyone?
Mitchell did it. Trey Mitchell entered the thing.
And I think Luke Richardson started that way as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He
Yes,
did.
He did the old bedroom lift, as it were, and then uploaded it, got into the top, whatever, came along, won it, both of them. And maybe Luke Richardson will be like Trey Mitchell and make the final.
I think Luke...
And you know, it was, I mean, bless him, Callie forgot when he did a post not that long ago on starting Strongman. And love you, big guy. And genuinely, this is no criticism, because I don't want to be criticized for you criticizing me. But he had forgotten that, well, first of all, everyone had kind of forgotten that we'd had a massive COVID break. And actually, we'd done North America's Strongest Man back in, August last year. Sure. You know, we'd done the World Tour Finals. Do you know what I mean? We'd done the Brits. There was more shows than people realized were actually qualifying for this year's one in May. And then, of course, November, and then there was like, why is World's Strongest Man not got a qualifying system? Oh, yes, we do. Why is Trey Mitchell not going to World's Strongest Man? He came 8th at the qualifier.
Sure.
And bless him, I don't think we've done Trey Mitchell. Nothing has been hard done by here. Yeah. Trey Mitchell went from qualifying official strongman, winning official strongman, going to Giants Live, getting on the podium, going to World's Strongest Man, coming second, beating Novikov in that legendary stone battle, going to the final of World's Strongest Man. Boom, 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 boom.
Without question, it's a qualifying route.
Tell me another sport where could you do it in boxing? 4 fights and you're the world champion?
Probably not.
So we're not so bad.
No, we're not so bad at all. But I do think things can still get better, and that's the point is. And I think I'm probably one of the better people to kind of argue the point, because I know some people just get angry and they sort of, you know, I do see things from both sides, but I always, and I'm sure you agree as well, I think always we should be trying to do better, trying to make the sport better, trying to improve things.
No, 100%. 100%. I was just enjoying like a little sort of verbal arm wrestling.
I've been arm wrestling tonight. We should get back on the table. Yeah, I'm getting into it. It's fun.
The arm wrestler.
There's a guy called Mindus who's exceptionally strong. He's a Lithuanian guy, but he lives in Swindon. And I'm Neil Pickup knows who he is. He's bloody good.
Big fella, strong enough.
Yeah, he would have made a good strongman. So when it comes to like just grip strength, he's pretty much on my level in terms of just grip strength. And then
he's a brute.
He's a big brute. And then, you know, his wrist is. I keep.
So has he done more arm wrestling than you?
Oh, a lot more. He's a proper. Yeah, he's like one of the top guys in the UK right now.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, Neil Pickup knows him well, and his progress in the last couple of years has been tremendous. But there's a few lads that train there.
I'm a total.
I know.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I could talk about arm wrestling all night, so we best not, because you know we're here to talk about strongman. But
Larry Wheels has totally gone mad on arm wrestling, hasn't he?
Doing awesome with it. Yeah, it's good. It's maybe we'll bring it back to World's Strongest Man.
I claim to have never been beaten, but in truth, being me, anytime I've ever gone up again, remember Brian Shogg, yeah, unbeaten. Let me have a little feel. It's Brian. And I did the old, what slipped out. My God. But even worse, have you locked horns with Lalas?
Yes, Lalas is a beast.
Lalas is horrible because he's went, come on then, Colin, just take my hand however you want. It's like what I would do, you know, when I was cockier and a bit stronger with anybody and in the pub kind of thing. You know, well, do you want to start down there? Yeah, no problem. But Lalas was terrifying.
You grab hold and you just feel like there's no weakness there. You can't do anything.
No,
it's good fun. I'm starting to improve with it, and it just, I guess, because I've done strongman for so long, I feel like a novice again doing something else.
Do you know what you haven't done? You haven't torn all of the bits of this elbow here. You have a good bit left, Loz. You can mash them up.
So do you know the amount of people that have said to me, "Don't do arm wrestling, you'll get injured." I'm like, did you see my strongman career? You know, it's.
Do you have any pains? Like right now?
No. I feel pretty good. I'm actually training reasonably hard, enjoying it. Not quite able to do certain things. Like the idea of pulling a truck right now scares the crap out of me.
Really?
Yeah, and also my overhead is massively impacted from my Achilles.
Your fitness is down, isn't it?
No, just tearing your Achilles. It's a lot of mental torture to then try and drive and pull a truck.
No,
I've got under a yoke again. I managed a 330 kilo yoke a few weeks back, and the first go was very, very tentative, and then sort of the confidence grows as you get through it a bit. And by the end, I was moving okay. But some things are fine. The gym strength is okay. And certain events are good, but I would struggle on certain things against the best guys in the world. And that's it's always the question. I got a PB earlier this year. Hit a 230 kilo bench. I remember when you met me, I probably couldn't bench 160.
Could you do that much?
Maybe on a good day with a bro spot.
Yeah, you could have done if you could have got those hips in there, man.
Yeah, no, my upper body's stronger than it used to be, but I never claimed to be a good bencher.
Did you always have a good grip?
Yeah, my grip's always been pretty strong. My grip's good. I was always, even though I was like the fat kid that could be moved really quickly. People were always surprised at how quick I was.
It's the hip power. I had it as it's that sort of, I don't know where I'm going to go. Kazmaier's always banging on about your fast hips, isn't he? He loves them.
Yeah, Kazmaier, he's funny.
Anyway, you know what I mean.
Anyway, while I've got you, what's happening with the Giants Live at the moment? Because, again, I guess you've had a lot of similar problems this year. It's been awful for fans of the sport. Obviously awful for you and Darren, who've put so much time and effort into. It's to that point.
Got my brain out of my head.
Yeah, I know we've got. I guess Britain's is still.
Yeah.
Is that going to happen, or no matter what obviously you guys made Europe's happen.
Loz, it's like a big shit sandwich. You have to have a good juicy bite. It's not much fun, mate. I can see. And there's not a lot of furlough cash going for strongman promoters. It's weird that they never list it. I'm always waiting for it to come in. Good old school hustlers. But where's our look after it? Anyway, we're doing all right. We're surviving. We are. If you're watching YouTube on Loz, go over to Official Strongman and subscribe there.
Sure.
Make sure you watch anything 12 times. Always watch the adverts because that really helps. Gives me like 1.010 of a pence. That's this is. Put it this way: this is the worst. I'm not being down here, but the fact is, when it comes to arenas, you have what's known as the on sale. And we're quite unique in that we put things on sale 1 year ahead. So we actually are carrying a vast amount of sales for this year, which is now next year. And we just need others people just have to go, right, okay. First of all, we have to be allowed to absolutely do big arenas. We are, but we're not. It's like, if we were to do Europe's Strongest Man, had done it in August inside the arena, I think we'd had to have basically gone, I'm sorry. And, I think it was about 7,500, 8,000 people bought tickets. I think we were allowed maybe, it was such a bore as well. Right, you and your dad, and then take 2 places away, and then a couple of shields there. And I think, you could have got between 2,500 and 3,000 people in there over the full 12,000 seater stadium, and it would have been, it would have happened, and God forbid if it carries on for on and on and on, it will have to happen like that. But the tricky thing is, a lot of people put their tickets on sale 3 months before.
Yeah,
they're just not putting them on now. Right? Okay, well, I'm not going to put it on sale. He's not putting it on sale. He's not just Strongman. They're the only lunatics who are holding Strongman. So let's not talk about it. It's whatever happens, they'll happen. I just hope they happen in their full glory. It's what is this my life's work, Loz? Just to sit around, so I can't take it, mate. Can't. It depresses me big style. Let's go on to a different topic. Next up, Liz, help us out. Come on, get us on to another topic.
Shall we go back to World's Strongest Man?
I'm not a pretty face like you. I can't even go in Official Strongman. We got Andrew B. Quinn doing stuff. I present my TV shows, but I can't bear seeing my stupid face So actually,
Why is that?
I don't want to do it on YouTube. But
you were always the face of Strongman. You're the man that, you know, when I got into it, it was always watching the Super Series with Colin Bryce on there. That was awesome.
Because I was too mean to pay anybody else any money, man. I just stingy.
It is sad because we come such a long way. And we've spoken about this from those shows and you know, 2015, 16, 17, 18, such awesome shows. Things were getting better and better. And obviously it's just been, like you say, it has been depressing. It really has. And I think
how many viewers is your YouTube graph is like going down? There's people watching. It's Brycey. There's miseries off the channel.
Bring crazy Bryce back.
Life is great. Life is great. You know, we're you know. Don't talk about Giants live. We're gonna do the Royal Albert Hall. Royal Albert Hall. That's like that. That
would have been amazing.
On Madison Square Garden, didn't quite like super nail it, but we did it, which is like a proper grab your kishkis and, you know, fly by the seat of your pants feeling. It's a wonderful feeling promoting when it happens, it happens. But it was gonna be a sellout. It was gonna be great. It was gonna be just not since boy with ill fact again. What was it? 1902 when Eugene Sandow was in there with the great competition. You know, it was history, man. It was more than just, hey, look how well we're doing. You know, we've gone from car park to local town hall. This was the RAH. Anyway, next year, 150th anniversary. Get your tickets now. I can't even sell a ticket right now. It's like a it's but hold
let's
off.
keep our fingers crossed
soon,
that let's hope that things improve fast and we do.
It will do.
Yeah. I think we just got to stay positive, keep working together, keep fans involved in the sport. And I think that's important. I think we need to give the fans a bit more credit sometimes. They want to help. They want to know what's going on as well.
You work in the fan vote. Loz, genuinely, the fans love you, man. I think I've told you this already like 100 times. I love what you're doing here. I think it's great. I think it's magnificent.
I wish I could do more.
Loz. You've obviously attacked this with the same way you've attacked Strongman. I only know one way.
I
only know one way, which is why I like my going so well with you. Because it's the same kind of lunatic. That we. It's great, and no one is more prolific than you on YouTube. I think I read that in the Sunday Times or something. You are. It's amazing.
It's just trying to do something.
I realise you're the brains behind the thing.
She's definitely that.
Luckily,
she can't hear you.
Right, let's talk about something. Let's get back to the World's Strongest Man final. You've asked me. We were like deviating from the one.
No, we were.
We are the World's Strongest Man final. We've got the log press. We've got the second day.
Yeah. The events are good.
We've got Hercules Holt. If Felix is in the final, he nails it. Everyone else looks like a child. He's the daddy, and everyone pays homage.
Go on then. Let's
the final, in my opinion, though, that's the truth. Brian Shaw, will he have the grip to do it after kind of having problems last year?
Well, Brian, obviously, he's looking great, and he's such an incredible strongman. His pedigree is second to none. His results are incredible.
Second to one.
Well, second to
this, he'll hate that comment.
Yeah,
you wouldn't believe.
I get a feeling.
I've got to say it. Is it just a straight out fact?
I always say they're the top two, and I've always, anyone that watches my channel knows.
Z and Brian.
Yes.
I'm talking straight out fact. I'm talking Pudzianowski holds 5 titles.
Well, Pudzianowski holds 5, yes. And we can go into arguments about
5 is ahead of 4. Now, this is upsetting Brian. I can see Z, hating this comment as well. Z also won a WSM Masters.
Why? I'm going to ask you something. Why do you think people dismiss Pudzianowski so much? Because he was an incredible athlete. And I remember watching Pudzianowski 2003. And I think he was probably the most dominant champion ever that year. He just seemed to, I might be wrong in terms of total score, but he looked like he dominated the whole contest from start to finish.
People need to have an opinion. That's part of the fun of being a fan, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're either one way or the other. I'm Pudzianowski, hey, dobshi, let's go good, or you're like, oh, he was nothing. You're like, if you really know your stuff, like ifs it was better, this kind of stuff. And, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. He'll only beat who turns up in the day. And Mariusz Pudzianowski, I mean, wiped the floor with them all in the 2 titles he won prior to the whole big
2003. If anyone goes and watches that, Pudzianowski was incredible and literally winning every single event almost, including things like the log lift and deadlift and, you know, the static events. He was unbelievable. He really sort of changed people's opinion of the sport.
He was Ahola was the first guy that kind of really brought in a whole professional attitude of, you know, they basically didn't just do powerlifting with some bodybuilding assistance movements. And then basically, how do we do this log on when you turn up to the competition and expect to do well? Which is why people were so crap back then, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you get these guys that slightly, and, you know, that does bother me a little bit. You know, man, I wish I was like back in the day, because, I mean, have you seen World's Strongest Man? 99 in Morocco or whatever.
Do you know what?
It was one with 150 kilos. Yes. But first of all, it was the first time anyone had ever seen like a 12 or 14-inch giant pipe thing that Jamie Reeves cooked up that year. Secondly, everybody had we all had the shits, for want of a better word, like horrifically.
Was that Malta?
Disaster.
Not Malta, Morocco. Morocco, wasn't it?
What's the chicken disease you get? Uncooked
Salmonella?
Chicken. Bingo. Yeah, we all had salmonella.
Yeah.
It's like a month long.
That was Morocco, right?
Slow kind of shrinking where you go from a grape into a raisin. That was a great moment. If you've never seen, you don't know the story, but you do know the show. Ahola's turning in the final with the Roosevelt stone.
Mm-hmm.
And as he turns, he drops down. And you think, and I think Paul Dickens, oh, he's trying to get a regrip there. No, he's not. He's just shat himself. He's just gone, oh no. Oh God, is it all over the back of my tracksuit arms? This is awful. Well, my telly, and I'm meant to win this, and I'm coming out of the bottom. It was just awful.
He was a great athlete though, Ahola.
He was just so tough, Ahola. I love Ahola.
Was it three? Oh, you only competed 3 times, right?
Wow, that's
3 times at Worlds. I think he was first, second, and first.
Turned up and won.
Yeah. Second in 2098, and then one again in 2099.
One in 99, and then he's just a great man. He's so tough. He's so, you know, my favorite Owlist. If I told you the old Hercules hold in the yard story, I tell. I've only got a few stories, so stop me if I'm
okay.
People would have spoken before. But basically, we were going, and I was going, I'm king of the yard. I got a great grip. You want to have a go against me? And of course, he's a carpenter, and he had a hell of a grip. And he never actually, I don't think he ever actually did it in competition. But he was there as equipment manager, like 05, 06, helped me out as ref. And I did it, and I don't know, I was pretty good. You know, I did like, 40 something, you know. And then Ahola went up there, and he went past 40 something. And he went, hey, pussy. I was like, oh God, this is awful. Am I king of the yard now, huh? Am I king of the yard? And then, wait for this. He then raised both of his feet like a gymnast. And then sat there smiling at me at like 55, 56, 57, hit the minute mark, and then put his legs down and let go. I believe the world record on the WSM Hercules hold is like 112, maybe
something like that.
40, something by Tamo Mitt.
Yeah, Tamo Mitt went.
Remember, he was like, when he came off in 05. It was a vicious. It was really nasty, and it's very heavy, that one at WSM. But,
is that the one they're going to be using this year?
Yeah.
So it's not the Giants Live one that Felix has.
Different ones.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'd love to see Felix get into the final and do that.
Well, you know what? When I was chatting with Eric, the main man, and maybe we're going to have Felix do it no matter what. Not that we don't believe he'll make it.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, we can,
try another world record.
Well, no, I don't know about that, but yeah. He's a legend, Felix. He's a legend, and his grip is anyone who thinks that he is not the king of grip has got something else. You know, it's just so
without question. I would fancy my chances on a grip event against anyone in the world, except for Mark Felix. He is on another level when it comes to, and you know, he's breaking that record every time you guys give him a chance right now.
He breaks it easily as well. That's the joke, you know. It's like he sort of says to the camera, "Yeah, that was tough. You know, I'll do my best. You know." But really, deep down, I think he's doing the old Sergei Bubka, you know, the guy who did the pole vaulting.
Yeah.
Just to like endlessly take money off us. Just beat it by another second. He'll be like, okay. You'll have to it for a few shows, Mark, just to keep.
So who's the referee this year? Is it Magnus still? Or
yeah, Magnus.
He's obviously had surgery recently, so I wasn't sure. But I know he had surgery recently on his knee, so I wasn't sure if he'd still be coming out. But
yeah. We'll if we have to, we'll wheel him about. You know.
Cool.
To be honest, I've been thinking of challenging him to a squat competition.
It's a good time, I think.
I'm actually, you know, like give it some. Yeah, where are you now, Magnus? Eh? Oh, yes, you were stronger. Come on, man.
You know, if you lost, it would be really bad.
Timing, you know, like.
You're like one of the wrestlers with the Money in the Bank thing. Have you seen that? They have like this. It's a wrestling type where they have a match to win this briefcase. They call it Money in the Bank, and it entitles a wrestler to a title match anytime, anywhere, and you can cash it in at any time. It's you often see them. So the two main guys will have a wrestling match, and then whoever's got the Money in the Bank will sort of challenge the winner just after they've had a tough match and they're battered.
This is WWE.
WWE, yeah.
Nonsense, madness.
I might be wrong because I haven't watched WWE for a few years, but a few years back it was.
Is old Adam Scher? Is he world champ or whatever at the moment?
I believe he was. I don't know if he still is, but yeah, he's doing well out there. He's former strongman. Just would have been
bloody good strongman actually.
Yeah, would have been good to see what he could.
I didn't have enough time, Adam, but I was a big fan. You know, I was gutted when he left. He's a
huge frame as well. I remember I saw Adam at Worlds 2011. He was there watching, and I came fourth in 2011. I just remember looking out, thinking, "Who the hell is this guy? That's like this guy should be competing. He's bigger than all of us."
Where was 2011?
Well, Charleston,
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah, in the university.
Yes. Yes.
Do you know what? World's Strongest Man, when I used to watch it on TV, was in some luxury locations. It was always in the Bahamas.
Mauritius, man, the first one I did. That was changed career.
I think. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the university in North Carolina, but. You know, West Virginia we've been to.
You were there, you came fourth that year, right?
I did, yeah. I did okay.
Terry stone off, if I remember correctly.
Terry beat me on the stones.
And
everyone beat me on the stones.
Growling at you, big tell. It was a moment.
You love that little rivalry you created between me and Terry.
Oh, big time, bro. I really pushed it.
And
hard.
We were both terrible at kind of working it for you, weren't we? Colin Bryce trying to like orchestrate this rivalry between me and Terry, and we're just like, I don't really like him. I want to win.
Yeah. But I think I did a whole piece of it at one of those shows. Actually,
I think you purposely always
clip together a few words and made like, all right, hey Terry. He's whatever. Yeah.
You'd always get a camera in my face when I'm about to do something, and when I'm in the zone, I'm just focusing on what I need to do, and that's that's the time to kind of put that camera in my face and
stop whipping yourself.
Yeah. I've mellowed a little bit since then.
You often sell yourself short, Oz, and because crikey, you think what you did in your era, and you still put them up against the best now. Some of your deadlift and your deadlift was extraordinary.
At one time,
squat was extraordinary.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that year. You was greedy, Loz. What was the year you went for 9 days?
Let's not even go there, Colin. Let's not even go there.
It is worth going. It is worth going there.
We can go there if you want.
It is, because the world needs to know. The world needs to know that what a clown I am, stiffing you, really. I didn't stiff you. you went along with my master plan to show off and make great telly, and then you stiffed yourself in a way because you listened to me. And I'm sorry.
Look, it's.
But better explain what the hell's going on here. Loz only had how many reps do you have to do to win? You were the best.
I think Obus did 1 rep. Someone else did 2 reps in my group. Everyone else zeroed on the squat.
So I said to Loz, listen,
this is terrible TV.
This is bad action, man. Bad action. I need a hard killer, Loz. You're the man. Rock the house, baby. And Loz was like, oh, what? Listen, Loz, it was something big buck as well. It was like every rep you do, I mean, whatever, 2 shillings and 6, whatever we were chatting about. And we haggled a bit, and then you smiled and went, all right, Bryce, I'll give you something special. I love you, Loz. Kissed your forehead, walked away. 10 minutes later, you were on the floor. Ah!
Well, I started the squat. To be honest, that year, I knew I wasn't in great shape. I had a shoulder injury, so I knew I'd struggle on a few events. And Colin, you offered me a little bit of money per rep on the squat.
It wasn't even the money. You didn't even care about the money.
No, it wasn't a lot of money.
It made it worthwhile. All right, I'll show off a wee bit here, Bryce. There's a reason to do it.
I started the squat, and I thought I could do 10 reps.
What was it?
I think it was about 320, something like that.
On a nasty bar.
A horrible bar. And I think I did 9 reps, and then I went down, started coming up on the 10th, and I blew my quad.
Just straight down, man. You went down like you'd been shot by a gun.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've only ever failed a squat when I've torn a muscle.
You've never failed a squat?
I don't think I've
failed. A torn muscle finished you off first.
Yeah. I've never not come back.
Having said that, if you were failing a squat, I wouldn't like to be the guy behind having to kind of grab you by the boobies and lift you up. I'd want a whole team of them.
I've never tried to push a max squat either, so be interesting to train for that. Maybe it's something.
Do you wrap suit boot the works for the real heavy stuff all the time?
No, I never use a suit. I hate suits. I actually want suits banned from World's Strongest Man.
Do you really?
But that's
Shaw's big on that as well.
I think that's another conversation for another day. But
go on, put your money where your mouth is. Who's going to win WSM?
I was going to ask you the same.
You asked me the same. I've got to be.
You've got to be impartial. You got to be impartial.
Can I swap hats so I can at least have a bet with you or something? I don't know who's going. It's impossible.
It's very hard. I mean, I think now going on reputation and his training's looking good. I think Brian is going to be the favorite. I mean, let me ask you: is Brian seeded number 1? Now that Kiliashkovsky is out, I was going to say.
But he was.
I think a number of the British guys can all do really well. I think Luke Richardson is an awesome athlete to watch out for. I think maybe being his first Worlds will be a little bit not daunting for him. I don't think he's that kind of guy, but I think World's Strongest Man is a learning curve. And although I expect him to do well, I'm not going to pick him to win this year. I think
the right temperament for it, though.
He really has. I mean, sometimes when you talk to people and they tell you they want something, and you're like, yeah, whatever. When this guy tells you he wants something, you know he means it, and he does everything he needs to be the best athlete he can be.
I was 22 or 23? I said, oh man, I think I was in nightclubs trying to dance around like a fool, pretending I was a strong man, But I really wasn't. I was just a buffoon.
Yeah.
Like the idea, that kid eats it. I don't know how old he was when I first saw him, probably 16 or 17.
Well, he's been behind the scenes at the Giants live shows for years, hasn't he? Been helping out.
For years, and I apologize, Luke, if it was earlier or younger, because I don't remember. Yeah. He sort of he was such an unassuming fact, just listening, learning, and I think I chatted to him when he was. I don't know what he was benching, was squatting, it was something off the scale. He did not look 16 or 17.
No, I think he's only early 20s now, isn't he?
But it was his whole demeanor. It was just and he's not overly intense. He's quite a chill guy as well with it. I think he'll do very well at Worlds.
I think
he's a nightmare in someone's group.
I think 5 of the British guys are all very dangerous. I think both Stoltmans are looking great.
Very good.
I think Hicksey is very dangerous. I think Hicksey, when it comes to static strength, is probably the strongest man in the contest. When it just comes
how
to...
How can you say he isn't? Look what he did
He's so powerful.
He went to powerlifting. And in his first Loz, you're more knowledgeable on powerlifting than I. Tell me, am I right in saying Hicksey basically, in his first ever powerlifting contest, went and did the second biggest total of that year, and it was just possibly like the top 2, 3 or 4 of all.
I mean, he totaled 1,100 kilos, which is insane. You know,
I mean, normally people come in, they learn a bit about, get your second rep in, and then you learn how to put your suit on. And
if we're honest, he underperformed a little bit, and you put that down to experience and powerlift. I genuinely believe if he focused on it, he'd get the all-time world record.
He got second at Big Dogs behind. And I believe it was the second biggest total of last year.
I think so.
He considerably beat Hapthorne. Not that God, here we go. Bryce, he's on.
Don't go.
I'm going to go at Hapthorne. No, and I'm not even.
Actually, I think they both did a very similar total.
They're both as well. What he did,
but I think when it comes to squat, bench, deadlift, and overhead pressing, it would be very hard for anyone to match.
He's like a chunk, though, isn't he? Hicksey.
Oh, he's like the widest. I
was thinking Allerton Castle. If I just pushed Hicksey, he'd just like sort of roll over.
Yeah. Do you know what? He seems in a good mental space right now. Hicksey, brilliant. In the past,
he's brilliant. Yeah, no,
he seemed a lot more worried, whereas now he seems to enjoy it a bit more again, and I think that will help him.
I think winning Britain's Strongest Man, and then Hicksey likes to be in control. He then, my destiny. I'm going to take you out. I'm not going to defend my title. He's kind of. I'm in control now. He's got his kids. He's got his.
Well, from speaking to him, he seems really keen. I think he wants to try and win the British again. I think he wants to really give everything at Worlds this year. I think again, someone.
Good luck winning the Britons with Richardson.
Well, Richardson, Bish, Stoltmans. To win Britain's now, I'm glad I've won 2 times and can sit back and enjoy watching these guys, because for the new guys coming through, I mean, let's face it, when I was at my peak, it was me and Terry, and then Eddie came along. But now the standard is ridiculous, start to finish, just in the Britain's Strongest Man.
I remember you, and if Ed's listening, this is the truth, Ed. I can remember phoning Loz up going, "What is this Eddie Hall bloke like? I must admit, he's a pretty entertaining character." Listen, Bryce, he ain't going to be anything.
No.
He's a right old hothead. You said we'll see this week. He said we'll see this week. And to be fair, he did have a meltdown at that contest or whatever.
Yeah,
I told
but
you, he's a bit of a lunatic.
I'm one of the first people to admit he. One thing with Ed is you just got to admire his determination.
Yeah.
Again, someone like a Luke Richardson. Luke Richardson reminds me in terms of when he looks in your eye and says, "I'm going to do it." You just look back and say, "Yeah, you are." And it's funny. I mean, my attitude's changed over the years where, like when Eddie was the first man to say 500's possible. And as a competitor, you got Andy Bolton, who was the best in the world, pulling 455. You think, come on, mate. You're talking shit. But now when people tell me they can do something, I'm like, go and do it. Don't talk about it. Go and do it.
Look at the person. You know why you didn't win World's Strongest Man, Loz?
I probably didn't.
I don't think you'd murder for it.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you. When people ask me now, it's one of the reasons I'm not. One of the reasons I don't want to go to Worlds now is not that I don't think I'm good enough. I still think I could be top 6 in the country if I put the effort in. But do I want to just make up numbers at World's Strongest Man? And that's the question I asked myself, is like, I could probably do another 5 World's Strongest Man contests if I wanted to, and maybe make a few finals and win an event here or there. I've got events I'm exceptionally good at. But I don't think, with everything I have going on with a wife and kids and, I want to focus on, more financially securing my family and things like that.
What could be more financially secure than rolling the dice on a couple of strongman contests?
Yeah. I've made that, and I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you know better than anyone the injuries that I've suffered and the downside of strongman, but I still wouldn't change it. It's got to me to where I am today. I love the sport. I'm glad I'm still involved in the sport, but I'm happy to sit back and let the new generation go and
how painful is it? I mean, having had just a plethora of injuries myself, watching Rob Kearney do that, that's just
awful.
Rob, what are you doing, man?
It was hard to watch, really hard. And
what are you doing? And this is I mean, you know, I mustn't comment or criticize, especially seeing as you're like the lead face of it, of what others are doing. We're all trying to do our best, and they're just, you know, you guys are trying to entertain, doing that the worst thing. And it's the difficulty this year is it's almost like it's not almost like there are no contests. No, everyone's so ring rusty.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's like, it's just the whole thing's a bit, nobody's quite balanced, as it were. And these things almost, I tell a lie. If you want to do a world record, like 500 kilos like Ed did, but he dedicate himself for almost, I think it was 12 months without another contest. He really did gamble and roll the dice on that.
Oh,
but he didn't miss a single thing. Nothing was wrong. It was, he made sure everything was perfect. And I think there's a lot of guys who are, you know, whatever. Well, let me do that. Anything, just anything. And now this is why we're seeing so many injuries for Worlds. Lalas did his bicep, you know, nasty one as well. And I felt awful. In fact, Patautis, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for calling you up and bringing you out of retirement. I owe a lot of people apologies.
I think Brycey rings us older athletes up every so often. Is what kind of shape you in? You know, you fancy doing this show.
And I tap into their psyche that you're one of the best of all time, baby. You can come back, you can do it. But I believe that with Lalas. Lalas didn't have a career, and he's such a he's like Ram Man.
Lalas is one of my favorite strongmen, and in his prime, absolutely unbelievable. Those shoulders.
He's the only guy who made killers because obviously Radzikovsky looked kind of, you know, slightly narrow-shouldered.
Yeah, Jesus, his shoulders in his prime, he really was Mr. Strong, wasn't he? He just had his shoulders are out there.
But I also, you know, Vitautas comes alive when he competes, and I just love his company's second to none.
He's
when
just
you
a
get
great
him on
person.
fire and he's happy, you know. Maybe it's because he's so miserable all the time.
I love having chats with him.
Smiles is a great thing, you know.
I love having discussions. He loves a debate, and you just have a chat with him. It's great. I remember him and Radzikovsky, and then Kaz were having a chat, and Kaz was like, he just because Lalas is the kind of person he'll disagree just to be a prick sometimes. he just wants to disagree for the sake of it, and I don't think Kaz could have understood that about him.
Yeah.
And it was
careful with Kaz. You know, you got to be careful. Kaz is he's the Don. He's the boss. He's the king. He's the man.
Let me ask you about that then, because bringing back to something you mentioned earlier, and it's something I had a conversation with. Someone like Kaz, for instance, like you see these people saying, "Oh, I could have won World's Strongest Man back in the day." Bollocks, you know, bollocks to that. These guys,
exactly.
These guys that say that.
If you never lifted a log and then went out there and did it on some horrific log, I had this that slick 170 you were doing in you know.
One of the things that's really changed over the years is the weight on the events. And that's because we all have the events to train on. We've all mastered the technique on how to do them. You go and watch. I was watching an old Britain's Strongest Man just last week. There's a YouTube
like 180 on the log or something.
No. It was a Britain's Strongest Man. It was older than that.
Like an oldie one.
Yeah. I think Jamie Reeves was probably the winner, but it was, you know, back in the either late 80s, early 90s. I can't remember anyway.
When Reevesy had the world log lifting record at 180 kilos, I went to his gym and trained with him, and he did not have a log to train on.
Well, this log that they used in this contest, the handles weren't in the center. They were sort of at the edge of the log.
Yeah, but that was a common thing.
And that,
horrific, isn't it?
The balance just on something like that is going to be so much harder. Or then you look back at the ones they used at World's Strongest Man that had twigs kind of coming out of them, and they were probably 16, 18 inches in diameter. It's not like the nice
stand was around the back, just you know, like undoing his and taking the petrol out of his thing. He just cut them down. Those were
even like, you know, I don't think the deadlift strength has come on that much from someone like Kaz. I think we have more top level guys now. We have more guys that are very, very strong. But I think from the past, some of the greats from the past, you put Kaz in his prime into the top guys now with all the modern equipment and training, that guy's still competitive. There's no doubt about it.
Well, like number one, right? You know, I talked about will he kill? Will you kill the world's strongest man?
Yeah.
Kaz
will kill
Kaz
his
will do genocide in a heartbeat. Kaz will. That dude's a sharp
you know,
when he's in there.
It's, you know, those guys that were champions in the past. There's the reason they were the best. And it's, you know, the sport evolves, we get better, but like with everything, there's better equipment now, there's better training, there's more familiarization with these bits of kit. Like we said, people, you know, now everyone has kit to train on. Most of the top guys will mimic all the kit for World's Strongest Man and the Arnolds. They'll spend the money.
I'm going to tell you just another little aside story, which was very interesting actually, because I was there at the second Superstars. Now, Superstars was a bit like World's Strongest Man, sort of late 70s, early 80s, big hit, you know, and it was the quarterback against the running back versus the cyclist. And, you know, there was all these different, in Britain, we'd have Jeff Capes versus Kevin Keegan, the footballer, you know, soccer player. And it was a great thing. And they all turned up and I gave it a go. And The second time it came back was in 2002. And I happened to be, well, in the end, I was the referee as well. But I was the ref, the MC, and I was teaching shot put. I was the shot put coach at it as well. And it was fascinating. All the guys who saw it previously and just were like, wow, this is great fun, man. We get a few bucks. And I don't know why I'm being Australian, but there was a couple of Aussies. They're having fun, right? Yeah. Except for, it was, gosh, what was his name? That's awful. I can't remember. So sorry. He won like multiple superstar titles. He was just a badass dude. He was a pole vaulter. Not that your name is Volta and you're Polish, but I don't really come to. Anyway, he turned up and had trained for maybe 6 months for every event. They invited him back as the last champion. So the dude is like 60 odd. And he was taking on all these like guys who'd just been at the Athens Olympics or Melbourne or what's saying. He turned up with his own bow and he knew the significance of winning superstars. Yeah. This is a roundabout long story. Really roundabout long story. Everybody else was just there having fun. And I bet the first World's Strongest Man competitions, you just have to watch them. They looked like a hoot. Yeah. Hey man, hey, I want to go. You know, you got what's that guy, Billy Graham, the wrestler. You know. Yeah. I want to come back. Get me the CBS guy. I'm gonna come back bitter, badder, uglier. You know, and they're just having a hoot. He's like in 8th position, like having a laugh. You know, if you were in 8th and last position, you would not be having a laugh these days. You'd be like you'd be like, get me out of here. Shower to get me home. You'd be miserable. Yeah. And as people just, it was John Paul. When Capes wins, remember that sort of he picks him up and the old this remarkable squeal.
I don't know what's going on there, Colin, but we lost you for a bit, but we're back now. So
it's because your internet went down.
All right, Colin, sorry about that. We're don't know what's going on tonight, but it's just 2020. I think it's just everything is destined to go wrong.
There's too many people tuning into this. Not live instead of or whatever.
It's all for YouTube and my podcast. So there we go.
And Facebook now.
Facebook, yes.
Is that on Facebook?
I probably won't put this on Facebook, to be honest. It's a bit long for Facebook, but you know, I don't know how I don't know if Facebook can handle us for this long. This is more podcast area. Anyway, we've got World's Strongest Man coming up. When do you fly out?
So Friday. Yeah,
Friday. Is that when all the athletes will be going?
Pretty much, yeah, because everyone has to do the sort of test when you arrive, test before you fly, and then the third test at about 24 hours in. So there's going to be 20. Yeah, I think it's about best part of 36 hours in your hotel room.
So is that what you got to do? You just got to kind of isolate when you get there. No mix it.
Yeah, that's absolutely what you got to do, because I mean, if someone turns up and they picked it up on the plane, etc., then we can get rid of one bloke. So, sorry, that's the way it is.
No, you don't want everyone.
You go to Casa de Covid, which is another hotel down the road.
How many?
Where you get a free room for 14 nights on your own, constantly. That's a hoot before you get to go home. But such as life.
I've seen it with the UFC fighters and stuff like that, all having to do the same. It's a very, very unique circumstance right now.
Yeah, luckily, World's Strongest Man is used to kind of exotic locations without crowd. You know, in fact, we'd often, as you know, if there really was no crowd, you would you know, then you'd have, you know, sort of like a few mums and dads standing in the background. The director would always, can you just, everyone, you know, 5 people just looks weird. Can we have no one, please? Just fair enough at the Zambezi River or something, you know.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, I'm going to ask you, we're going to ask a couple of questions, but I want to ask you, and you don't have to, I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but who are your, not necessarily the greatest, but who are your 3 favorite, you know, and let's go back. I don't want you to include anyone who's still competing, but who are your 3 favorite strongmen of all time? You can go back as far as you like to the beginning of Strongman. If you had to pick 3 favorites you just enjoyed watching, to take your association of the sport out of it, just as a fan, who are your top 3 guys that you just enjoyed?
So we got to talk in the modern era then, obviously, because I'm not that old. And Big
well,
Louis,
we're talking World's Strongest Man.
World's Strongest Man. Who did I don't know. There's so many magnificent characters. I don't know why it attracts so. Maybe they're not magnificent characters. Maybe
they are. There's some,
and I like all these ludicrous alpha male figures. You know, and you know, the banter and the macho-ness and the.
I think we've had some awesome
become
characters.
so macho and so alpha that they actually almost go the other way when they get as a huge group of you. You're actually so some of the most silly, you know, almost childlike. It's still great fun, isn't it? Who's the greatest characters? Goodness, I mean, who didn't like John Paul? He was, as Douglas Edmonds, big doggy, as Douglas Edmonds described him, peerless. You know, he was, you know, a man with no peer. He was beyond all others in terms of entertainment value. We are all here because of him.
Yeah,
his extraordinary, but he was built from the foundation of Bill Kazmaier, and bless him, Barry Frank is now gone as well in the last year or so. The man who created people say he created it. He created it. He went, World's Strongest Man. I'd like to do this as a show. He was the guy. And Barry thought it was supposedly it was a better idea not to have Kaz there a 4th year in a row. Not even supposedly, it's quite true. I've seen the 2 discussing it as some older gentlemen.
So
and Kaz is still very bitter about it.
Is there truth behind that then? I always heard like rumors.
No,
but
Barry was absolutely. Barry was he was an immense character, and he people have a vision, and their vision is how, you know, if you like, do you know what we need right now in the world? Do you know what Britain needs right now? And this is going to sound like a total lunatic talking. We need a dictator. You need one man in charge. UFC. Why is it so good Dana's in charge?
Sure.
Look over at Vince McMahon. You need one man in charge to really get shit done.
Yeah.
That group don't like it. So what? There's one man's vision can take you a hell of a long way.
Sure.
And if, you know, especially without being picked off by the media or this or that. And that Barry had a vision, and he made it, and he made it great, highly entertaining. But like, you know, you can't just carry the whole thing yourself, because, you know, Barry didn't like Hercules hold. He thought it wasn't, you know, of course, since have the data of the modern era would prove that, you know, Hercules hold is a winner. But yeah, we wouldn't be here without Barry, and we wouldn't be here without Kazmundo, Big Kazalicious, you know, and he was, you know, just so great, Kaz, as a character. There's no one like the Kaz. But off of the back of that, John Paul was just, it's as if he'd gone to acting school and knew how to play a ludicrous, magnificent Viking hero. You know, it was all the silly lines. I mean, it reminded you a bit of you know, Ali always had you know, lines tucked up his sleeve. You know, and it was yeah. So yeah, John Paul is really, I would probably match Douglas's sentiment there. He's probably peerless. There's been some bad imitations since then of people trying to be a bit like that. So people who've really stood out as their own character, obviously, I've got to go modern era. You know, Hap, Thor, and Ed were just a couple of and still are just a couple of you know, absolutely insane characters.
Yeah.
Do
you reckon that's the best?
Else?
Do you reckon that's the best rivalry since the Kaz and John Paul?
No, because I mean, rivalry. It's got to be the greatest rivalry of all time. It's got to be Zydrunas and Bryan. I mean, I'm talking like from a purist point of view. The sport, you know, Bryan and Z are in a way head and shoulders above the rest for their sheer quality, consistency for many, many years. And bloody hell, Bryan's, even Z's still around. He's still kicking around, winning things. How's he doing it? Bless him, you know.
Those two.
Can I just do a Z? What Z's referee? There's something under the serious look. No, don't do those kind of things. He did that the first week, and then he subjected Z. So it looked very, very wrong. And I'm sure you realise that. But of course, that is the position you hold as a referee. Down.
Yes. Yeah. I love how seriously he takes the job as well.
Yeah. He takes it very seriously. He's a serious dude, man. He's you know, people think he's like doing the whole kind of monosyllabic kind of gag. You know, he just played a little bit.
He's actually a funny guy when you get to know him off screen. He's got a dry sense of humor.
But I've never met a dumb world-class strongman.
No,
there's such a thing. It's impossible because you're not a product of you know, some East German machine who's you know, I had, you know, no idea I was taking all the food and whatever. You guys, you are self-built men, from physical to mental, and you know, there's no sports psychologists, except probably now there are. The very best will have turned to everybody in every angle to make sure they can win something.
Oh, now the professionalism is crazy. But going back to like the characters and stuff, I used to love watching Raymond's Bergmanis, and that guy would turn up with a little belt and a little bag, and you know, Raymond's was awesome to watch. Just
He's
funny,
tough,
but
you know? The toughest man of all time.
Oh,
and Ray was tough. I remember he turned up with his weightlifting shoes. And I remember he said he could only bench like 150 or 160 first time we got together. And we had some right good riot, and we were, you know, good buddies. I looked after him at the Highland Games, and he did really well. Made the final of WSM, and then obviously went on and got on the podium. And he was a great character. But I remember his weightlifting shoes slipping off, and he carried on pulling the truck with no shoes on. and there was just a trail of blood.
Can't imagine how painful his feet would have been after that.
And then he just carried on with all the events, like, you know, just as hard as they come.
But he was literally just a little bag, little belt. That was it. He didn't need all the fancier kit that all the guys have, and you know, the physios, and
he's a brilliant mind, Ray. Ray was I never quite understood his English entirely. You know, he's a bit like Clive. Those two guys they can make you laugh just telling some ridiculous story. But in the end, someone will go, "What was that all about, Bryce?" I have no idea. He's the funniest man I've ever met. You know, he's and Ray was like that as well. Very much.
Do you think that's what we need? Is more characters then? Right, we've got great athletes.
Manufacture these things. If I could, I would. If I could. If I can, you know, make them in a factory, like, here we go. Give me the, I need the Hollywood, you know, Beach Boy hair, you know, glinting teeth hero, and can we have two more of the hard Eastern European, you know, whatever. Verishchuk, that takes me back to Verishchuk. You must find the footage when he's in Super Series 2003, I think, and Stock. I can't remember. We were somewhere 2005, and he goes to flip a tire, and he dislocates his finger. Again, I feel like I've bored you with this one before.
No, I know this story. Yeah,
you know, his finger is just sitting sideways, and I can't remember if he cut it into the show or not, but he just kind of went.
I think it was in Sweden, wasn't it?
And then just snapped it back into place, and then carried on. Oh man, you know, any guy who's got multiple bullet wounds, you know, from being sprayed with a machine gun and went on to win World's Strongest Man. He is,
he's one of the guys when I was first getting into training myself. I used to love watching him and just his intensity. Him and Kazmaier, probably the two most intense guys I've ever seen in competition. Yeah. They just had that crazy look in them.
More so. Kaz is Kaz. Yeah, Kaz. Everything was life and death with Kaz. You know, he's so mellow compared to where he once was. We're getting all mellow with age.
Yeah, that happens.
It does happen. Thank God it does, really. But yeah, but he still. I don't think Kaz would take offense to me saying he's still not exactly a perfectly well-rounded human being. he's still bonkers, Kaz.
That's what made him so great as well.
Yeah, you know.
Would he have won?
But remember when he's asked him, "Do you think you're the strongest man in the world?" You know, whatever. And he said, "I don't know, right. I think I'm the strongest man ever."
That's the attitude you need to be that great.
You think you could have said a line like that?
No. I did try the I've got, you know, these are the strongest legs, or I think it was these are the strongest legs, baby. It was and that was, you know, when I was younger, I had that belief. I did. There was a time that I had that belief that I could be the greatest strongman on the planet. Unfortunately, as you get older and other things kind of creep into your life, other things become more important. But when you're young, and you see it with Luke Richardson, there's nothing else. You know, he doesn't have a family to worry about in terms of kids or anything else. It's just, you know, I've got 3 kids to think about that are more important than me. It's hard, but I certainly
term that, but it's nice. Good baggage.
It is good baggage. I wouldn't change it for the world, but I certainly miss those days where strongman was everything, and it was, you know, it was life or death. And it's crazy when I look back and think it was life or death, because
let me do a little rapid fire question to you then.
Come on then.
You can come back with one answer.
Okay.
It has to come straight out.
Okay.
Who was better, you or Terry?
Ooh, me.
You had to say that. Terry won't take any offense to that one, I don't think. But
if we just go one, you know, you got to back yourself.
Strongest legs of all time. Who's were they and when?
Strongest legs of all time. Yeah, let's go with Ray Williams.
Yeah,
Ray Williams. That guy is unbelievable.
Okay. Greater strongman, John Paul or Kaz?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Got to take everything into account. Time's ticking, so 5, 4, 3.
Kaz.
Okay. Say 3 words that come into your head. Eddie Hall.
Most determined man ever, you know.
Most determined. Most determination is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful
I think that's
far better thing than being the most talented man.
I don't think Eddie is the most gifted guy I've ever seen. Not by a long shot.
How many world champions ever are?
Yeah, his determination. Very few athletes, maybe someone like Michael Jordan, is on that kind of, you know, I put him on that kind of level when it comes to sheer will to be the best. I've not met, you know, I've met more talented men, but I've not met a man that is just willing to do whatever it takes to be the best. And, you know, he earned my respect over the years. Like I said, when I first met him, I thought, well, this cocky little shit, you know, when me and Terry were probably the top 2 British guys. And at one stage he was
even Ed is mellowed. Ed's a pretty mellowed dude now. You know,
he's not trying to win World's Strongest Man or deadlift 500, although he's still training pretty hard for a boxing match. So
yeah,
I'm sure he won't be too.
Who's going to win? You got 5 seconds. Who's going to win?
Eddie.
Okay. Knockout or no knockout?
Ooh. I think they could both end up gassed out. It's a hard one to pick. I don't think we'll see a knockout.
Okay. You think they'll both gas out before they won't have the power?
If I can use more than what from what I've seen, and this isn't my favorites or anything like that, but from what I've seen as an analyst, which is I like doing now, Eddie is a better boxer right now. From the training footage that I've seen.
Say one thing in Hapthor's defense. Have you ever seen Hapthor not do well at something?
No, they're like, to be honest,
he's a guy. Anyone who thinks Hapthor must have been all
he
wasn't that talented when he first turned up. He was big.
Hapthor I think Hapthor and Eddie are very similar in that determination.
Sorry, love. I'm just finishing my podcast. It'll be 2 minutes. Is that right? There's my unhappy wife there.
Sorry, people can.
I better get off quickly.
Yeah.
Last question. Go on.
Who?
Greatest strongman ever, like strongest. You've got all of them lined up. Doug Edmonds is refereeing. He's the greatest referee for sure.
Everyone in their prime.
All the Celestial
lined up.
gods, Douglas would talk about it. They're all from way back when.
If we were putting everyone in their prime, absolute prime, I would pick Zydrunas Savickas. For me, he's the greatest strongman of all time.
He's very good, actually. He's very good. You know what? I did a podcast not that long ago with Radzi, and I didn't mention Zydrunas for some reason. And actually, that was one of the comments a lot. I was, why didn't you mention? You know what? There's just that bloody many of them. Sometimes you're in a different mood.
That's when people ask me who's my top 10 of all time and things like that, I change every week.
I'm going to say this, right? If Brian Shaw wins that 5th title, I think he's cemented himself like above Zydrunas. And obviously he's then matched Mariusz, which then, because of all of Mariusz's lack in other places and other contests.
You know what Brian has to do if he wins this one is come back in 2021, do 6. Well, then it can be.
Before he does 2021, I would advise him to do all of the Giants' lives, because it would be it would be great to get his big butt over and sell some tickets, baby. Come on, Brian.
It would. Colin, thank you for joining us, mate. I know it's been a rough year, and obviously you've got Worlds. You fly out in just a few days. I hope it all goes well. Obviously you've got a tough job now. You've got to replace Kiliashkovsky. I know that's giving you more things to worry about and deal with, but there's a lot of great athletes out there. We'll look forward to watching them.
And let me just say, Mateusz, I haven't spoken to him yet. And if he gets this before I speak to him,
I actually spoke to him earlier today.
Thank you to everyone who's tried to get in shape, from Lalas to whoever. It's thank you guys, and and my last thought is big love to Doug Edmonds, who was the man who,
without question,
created everything from Atlas Stones to Car Walk to Hercules Hold to whatever, and it's a little thought for him.
So, someone I know you're extremely close to. Sad time for the sport, and for the new fans, they might not even know him. I kind of implore you to go and look back into the history of strongman. Just
and
such
celebrate. It's not sad. Celebrate.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
He was an immense dude, and he was fun.
I've heard so many good stories. I wasn't really lucky enough to spend too much time with him. I got in just after, he was stepping out of the sport, but I've heard some incredible stories and wish the family the best. Colin, I hope Worlds goes absolutely perfectly for you guys. I know it's going to be a stress, but make sure it happens. We need it. We need something to look forward to this year. I'm presuming Strongman will be on TV Christmas time as normal.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
Firing ahead as
That's
normal.
what we've got to look forward to. Only a month to wait this year as well. So.
Hang on a second. We not in a previous podcast for someone else moaning about it having to wait till Christmas.
No. I was I was always moaning that we're not getting it out sooner, but I think I was the person that said it's only a month to wait this time.
Thank you, Loz. No, it'll be. It's a Christmas cracker. It has to be. And touch wood, everything goes just fine. And can we get the strongest man in the world? That's all that matters. We'll find him.
We will indeed. Take care, Colin. I'll speak to you soon. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this chat. We will be back with more strength action soon. Take it easy. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.